Good day, everyone. This is Jenny's Fashion Channel. Thanks to all my amazing fans and subscribers. This channel is all about leveling up on your fashion designing skill. And today, I'm going to teach you how to cut an overbust corset. So if it is what you're all about, you are definitely at the right place. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, now will be a very good time for you to smash on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's jump right in, shall we? I will first draw a line here as my baseline. And I will draw a line here, okay, to serve as a guide for taking my measurement because the edge of my paper is not straight. Then I will go ahead and get my neck weight, and I'm using 3 inches for the neck weight. Then I'm going to get my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I will mark it. Then from those points, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the neck weight. Then the next thing is to get my armhole depth. So I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, okay? Mine will give me 8 inches. But I'm going to remove 1 inch, okay? Because I wouldn't want my bust to reveal on the armhole side. So I'm going to mark 7 inches here. And I'm going to connect it like those. Then I will go ahead and draw a horizontal line from those points as my chest line. Then I will go ahead and take my vertical measurement. I will come down by 10 inches for my bust line. I will come down by 13.5 inches for the under bust line. I will come down by 17 inches for the waistline. Then I'm using 21 inches for the full top length, okay? Because if you look at this top well, you will see that it has a Basque effect, okay? So I'm going to draw the lines. Then I will go ahead and get my bust span. So I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I will mark it on the bust line and I'm going to connect it straight down to the full top length. Then the next thing is to get the under bust dart. So from those points, I'm going to go in by 1 inch and go out by 1.5 inches. Then from this, my bust point, I'm going to go down by half an inch. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the under bust dart. Then I'm going to connect this, my under bust dart, straight down to the full top length. Next, I'm going to get the midpoint of this my shoulder line. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the bust point. Next, I'm going to get where I want the overbust dart to fall. So from this point, I'm going to go down by 5.5 inches. You can go down by 5 inches. You can go down by even 4 inches. It depends on how high you want it. Then I'm going to mark it and I'm going to draw the line. Then the next thing is to get my overbust dart for the overbust tightening. Then from those points, I'm going to go in by 1 inch and go out by 1.5 inches. You can go in by 1.25 inches and go out by 1.25 inches, okay? It purely depends on you, okay? Then I'm going to go up by half an inch from those points. I'm going to connect it like so. If you measure these two cups, you'll find out that the one at the right side is always higher than the one at the left side. So I'm going to extend this very one with half an inch. I will mark it and I'm going to connect like so. Then the next thing is to get my top neckline. So from this, my bust point, I'm going to go down by 1 inch. Though this purely depends on you. It depends on how revealing you want it. It depends on the amount of cleavage that you want to expose there. Then I'm going to mark it and I'm going to connect it like those. Then I will go ahead and take my bust measurement divided by 4. I'm going to replace this dart intake here. I will mark it on the chest line and I'm going to connect it like so. Then I will go ahead and take my horizontal measurement On the bust line, I'm going to take my bust measurement divide by 4. On the underbust line, I'm going to take my underbust measurement divide by 4, and I'm going to replace this dart intake here. On the waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement divide by 4, and I'm going to replace this my dart intake here. I will mark it and I'm going to connect like so. Then I will go ahead and snatch my waist. So I'm going to get the midpoint of this my waistline, okay? From this point to this point, I will mark it. Then I'm going to connect it straight up and down like so, okay? You can make it a bit slanty. It depends on the kind of line or the kind of shape that you want it to have, okay? Then from those points, I'm going to go in by 1/4 of an inch and go out by 1/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to connect like so. Then I'm going to get the difference between my waistline on the back part and my waistline on the front part, because you know the front part waistline and the back part waistline are always different. So mine is 1.5 inches because my front waistline is 17 inches and my back waistline is 15.5 inches, okay? So the difference is 1.5 inches. Then from this my bust line, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the bust point like so. Then for me to close this dart up, okay, I'm going to cut the midpoint of this my dart, okay, like so. Then I'm going to cut this my shoulder dart like so, okay, in order to close this point up. Then I will go ahead and close it up. Then after closing this my bust dart, I will go ahead and reconnect the chest line to the bust line, okay? Then for the waist dart, I'll go ahead and reconnect it, because after closing the bust dart, you will find out that some of the lines have adjusted. Or better still, you close the bust dart before snatching your waist, okay? They are just the same thing. I put in consideration the dart intake for the waist snatching when I was taking my horizontal measurement, because it is very necessary to replace any dart intake. As a matter of fact, it is better that you have excess fabric left than having shortage, okay? Then for the basque effect, I'm going to connect this to this point like so, okay? But I want you to pay attention here, okay? You have to close all the dart before connecting, because if you connect, okay, without closing up the dart, you'll find out that some of the lines are shorter than the other, okay? So we'll go ahead and close this up, okay, and reconnect our line and close this second dart up and reconnect like so. So we are going to disregard all those lines, okay, the initial lines, okay? Then I will go ahead and add 2 inches for joining allowance on the chest line, on the bust line, on the bust line, and waistline, okay? So guys, that's just it. I will now go ahead and cut. So follow me closely. Let's cut. So guys, that's it. We're now moving to the back panel. The first thing is to draw a line as my baseline. Then I'm going to take out 1.5 inches for my zipper. I'm going to draw the line. Then I will go ahead and take my vertical measurement. The back part is starting from the chest line, okay? And my chest line is on 7 inches, okay? So I'm going to use this my baseline as my chest line. Then I'm going to come down for my bust line, taking 7 inches off. And I'm going to come down by 15.5 inches for my waistline. And I'm going to add half an inch for joining allowance. You know, the back part does not have that basque effect the front part has, okay? So it's stopping on the waistline, okay? Then I'm going to draw the lines. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my bust band So I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. I will mark it on the bust line, and I'm going to connect it straight down to the joining allowance line. Then the next thing is to get my dart. So from this point, I'm going to go in by half an inch and go out by half an inch to form a dart. Then I'm going to extend this my bust point with 1 inch, okay? And I'm going to connect like so. Then I will go ahead and take my horizontal measurement on the chest line. I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 4. I will mark it on the chest line and mark the same thing on the bust line. On the waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement, divide by 4. I'm going to replace this dart intake here. I will mark it and mark the same thing on the joining allowance line. Then I will connect my marking. Then on this my waistline, I'm going to go in by half an inch. This is to remove any form of bulginess on the waist area. I'm going to connect it like so. Then I will go ahead and snag the waist just the same way I did on the front part. So I'm going to get the midpoint of this my waistline, okay? I will mark it and I'm going to connect it straight up and down. Then I'm going to go in by 1/4 of an inch and go out by 1/4 of an inch, okay? To form a dart. Then I'm going to connect like so. Then I will go ahead and add 2 inches joining allowance on the chest line, on the bust line, on the waistline, and joining allowance line. And I'm going to connect my markings to serve as a guide for cutting. Then I will go ahead and add my zipper allowance, okay? On the waistline, I will start taking the zipper allowance from the half an inch I went in with, okay? And I'm going to carry on like so, following the same curve, and I will connect my markings. Then I will go ahead and give my back part a bit slant curve, okay? Though it purely depends on you. You can leave it those way, okay? Without any curve, okay? So guys, I will now go ahead and cut. So guys, that's it for the back panel, and this is all I have for you for today. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe, comment, like and share. See you in my next video. Bye.